Well, the Carolina Panthers had the day off, but we did not.
Never.
Welcome into Charlotte Sports Live. Grace Grill and Mike Lissette with you tonight.
Yeah, the black and blue will be back at it tomorrow for practice, but will QB1 be there? That's what a lot of people are wondering tonight. And again, they're also wondering about the state of Carolina's defense. That is where we're going to start. Already a big problem, their lack of depth just got even worse. JC, Shaq, Frankie, CJ, all on the shelf. Now you can add another name to that list. Reports say Xavier Woods could miss anywhere from 4 to 6 weeks. 5'11" safety suffered a hamstring injury in the loss to the Seahawks Sunday. What happens when you don't have solid backups is that the guys get tired. We saw it Sunday in the second half as the Panthers lost their edge by the end of the game. You would think 27 points by the offense would be enough. At least Derek Brown thinks so. He knows what needs to change.
I think defensively, we held strong in the first half.
And now to pile onto the theme of the defense's inconsistencies is this graphic. The ability to stop the pass has been good. Just 577 yards this year through 3 games with 2 picks and just 2 touchdowns allowed. But the ground game is where it goes south. They've allowed 410 yards rushing yards to go along with 6 touchdowns. Both of those numbers are near the bottom of the league. The good news is, Grace, in facing the Vikings on Sunday, the Vikings actually have, I think, so look right here, the second worst running attack in the league. That's good. The bad news is they can pass like nobody else in the league right now. Kirk Cousins, best quarterback in terms of stats. Justin Jefferson, wide receiver, best wide receiver in the game right now.
Yeah, this could exploit some weaknesses in that secondary that we are already concerned about. I think this is just going to be, look, the Panthers are just in a tough spot right now. There's nothing you can do about injuries. You know it's part of the game. It's going to happen. But the concern now is, they keep preaching this next man up mentality, and they're really gonna have to use it. I mean, that's not the answer you want, but it's just you gotta work with what you got. And I mean, this might sound a little bit naive, but I'm like, at some point, it's like this is the NFL, right? Like you're telling me, like, okay, there's only a starting line of guys that can play in the league. Like if you are a professional athlete, you should be able to step up and play.
Well, 2 things. Number one, if you have football experience out there, the Panthers probably have some openings for you to look into. The other thing is this is now on the coaches. They've got to get those guys, those backups, ready to go. And the fact that if you don't have guys ready for it, that not only is on the players, that's on the coaches for not making sure they're ready to go.
Well, here's another positive, too, is that it also does allow these guys that are going to get a shot to step up and shine. Like sometimes this is an opportunity for guys that aren't necessarily a starter, and it's like, hey.
Go do it.
Yeah, go do it. All right now, though, the biggest question surrounding the team is whether Bryce Young will be. So we could have Bryce and Bryce.
Did you guys out there realize just how close we came to having the third-string quarterback enter the game on Sunday? Early on, remember how Dalton got drilled making that first quarter throw? This is why they've got to do this. I mean, they are in trouble. But I will say that if Dalton can go this weekend, and you're still iffy about Bryce, I'd go with Dalton. I mean, the offense right now looked really, really good, at least the passing attack. It hasn't. Minnesota also, although they're a great passing team, their pass defense is not that good.
Yeah, and everybody's going to say, oh, okay, well, Andy Dalton looked good because of Seattle's defense, and they aren't that good. I'm like, it doesn't matter, right? It looked better, and I'm not saying that you don't throw Bryce in.
I mean, I think in this case you got to play the percentages, especially if your QB1 is not healthy. Vikings, 8th worst passing defense in the league. Seahawks, by the way, were the worst, which is one of the reasons why Dalton was able to go crazy. You still want to get that running attack going out there, so that's very important for Carolina.
It is a concern, though, because you can't put Dalton out there and have him take the hits like he did in that game. That's why you need backups.
Well, the Panthers head into Sunday's game with an 0-3 record. Making the playoffs is not going to be easy, but fear not, because it has been done before. Since 1979, 6 teams have reached the postseason after going winless in their first 3 games. 4 of those teams have come after 1990. The most recent team to do it was the 2018 Houston Texans, who were led by Deshaun Watson and DeAndre Hopkins. Want to be clear, though, I wouldn't advise buying a ticket to the Super Bowl just yet if you're a Panthers fan. That's because no 0-3 team has ever made it that far, and only the 1992 Chargers ever got past the first round.
Oh boy.
There's a first for everything, though, and the Panthers hope they can be the first ones to pull it off. The team is off in practice today, as we said. They'll get back to it tomorrow with the focus now, of course, as we said, on the Vikings. It is early in the season. Guys like Adam Thielen are comparing Sunday's matchup to a playoff game. Yes, it is a must-win situation. Frank Reich knows it.
Well, the good news for us is, like from day one, we've talked about urgency. Like we were in training camp talking about it, and we always talk about a healthy tension. And the thing that we talked about in training camp was both urgency and be intentional. Be intentional and urgent and intentional. So that's a good thing. When you start those principles and those themes in training camp, when it comes to the season, the guys know this is, we talk about this all the time. And we all know we need to be reminded of it. Then the season brings that to light even more.
And there's no better way to get set for the game than with us. Black and Blue Kickoff Live is the Panthers pregame show in the Carolinas. And we're back live on the field at Bank of America Stadium this Sunday at 10 a.m. Stay tuned to CSL and QC News because tomorrow we'll be announcing which players will be joining us this week. BVKL this Sunday, 10 a.m. on Fox Charlotte.
And you know that no other station in the Carolinas gives over-under set at 45.5, so little faith in both offenses early in this one.
Goodness.
DraftKings has the total over-under in the first quarter at 8. You big better, Mike?
No. Not. I have many vices in terms of Snapple and basketball jerseys and shoes. I don't gamble because I waste my money in other ways.
Oh, that's good.
But
What do
I
you
will
think?
say, if I were to bet, I probably would bet on the Panthers this week. I think that Frank Reich, if you look at his coaching record, he's got a history of slow starts. In fact, the only year that he had a good start in Indianapolis was in 2020. The 2 years they made the playoffs, 2018 and 2021, they started the year 1-3. So this is like right up Frank Reich's alley to start a little slow here. You got to believe it's just a matter of time.
You know, I really want to, and usually I'm the princess of positivity around here.
Princess of positivity. She said
That's
it.
so I've been called. But I don't know. The last time that they played, the Vikings were 2.5-point favorites back in 2021, and they won by 6. And I just don't think the odds are good when you're looking at that when they're at home.
Okay. I also want to know the odds that Syracuse is Central New York versus Upstate New York. That's a debate we're having
another
here.
debate.
So email me that answer if you guys are out there want to just add to the debate here. All right, with October just days away, a yearly tradition for NASCAR is back. We'll show you how they're continuing the fight against breast cancer.
All right, but first, this evening, the ACC released the entire conference schedule for the upcoming basketball season. Just as it's been the last 4 years, each team will play 20 league games. Duke will play its first conference game on December 2nd at Georgia Tech. That same day, the Tar Heels host Florida State. You're watching Charlotte Sports Live. We'll be right back.
They asked Joe Namath what his next move should be, and he said backing up Patrick Mahomes for the Chiefs. Speaking of the Chiefs, Grace, Taylor Swift, is she good for Kansas City, the Chiefs, or bad for them?
I don't understand how this could be a bad thing.
Well, hey, talk to Cowboys fans about Tony Romo and Jessica Simpson. That was a thing.
So you're comparing Jessica Simpson to Taylor Swift?
Jessica Simpson was on top of the pop world with her show The Newlyweds with Nick Lachey, Chicken of the Sea. Come on, this is a big deal.
This is absolutely good for Chiefs. It's good for Travis Kelce. His jersey sales are up like 400% or something crazy like that.
That is true. Brian, who should be the guest picker for College Game Day at Duke?
Obvious choice is Coach K, but I'm going to go with Jerry Seinfeld. His daughter just graduated from there, and his son goes there.
I would say Christian Leitner. That'd be pretty cool, right?
Hey, you know what? ESPN likes to spice things up. You know, that's why they have Vince Vaughn coming in there.
He's like the ultimate heel. Yeah, I like that, Vince Vaughn last
In
week.
Notre Dame, yeah.
All right, guys, thanks for playing. Well, as Grace just alluded to, good or bad for the Chiefs, Taylor Swift has certainly been good for NFL ratings. Fox revealed the Chiefs game that Swift attended on Sunday, a 41-10 blowout against the Bears, was the most watched television program of the week across all networks with 24.3 million viewers. She might be the new queen of the Chiefs kingdom, but does she get a QC crown tonight? Find out on the other side of this break.
Well, apparently it is back to the basics at 800 South Mint Street. The Panthers plan to simplify things this week for Bryce Young and the offense as they simply try to get their first win of the season in Week 6.
And as they get set to play preseason game number 2 tomorrow, we get massive news involving the Hornets roster.
That we do. Welcome inside Charlotte Sports Live. Carla Gebhardt joined alongside Mr. Mike Lissette. We got Joe Moreno here as well, and a lot going on a Wednesday, Mike.
You are not kidding. It is opening night for the Carolina Hurricanes. Game 3 in Philly tonight, the Atlanta Braves, plus all the Panthers news. But before we start with any of that, We begin with breaking news involving Hornets forward Miles Bridges.
That's right. The NBA star being ordered to appear in court.
All right, more from the Hornets, his team with seemingly 99 problems, but now Kai Jones 8-1. On Monday, the 22-year-old asked for his release. Today, his wish was granted. The would-be third-year center took to social media to celebrate the news today. He later told me on the phone that he's excited to now have the ability to showcase his talents to other teams in the league. However, whether those teams would be interested remains to be seen. Jones averaged only 3 points last year, and while he did not violate any rules, he drew plenty of concern and attention this summer with puzzling behavior online. When I asked him how he was doing, he said he was doing great.
Now we go to the black and blue, and they're going to try to make this easier, right? Make the play calling easier, make it easier to get the plays into the other players. And I'm curious to know what you think about this. I have my own thoughts.
Oh, it's like if you like your lightly buttered toast, get ready because now you're going to get no butter on your toast. I feel bad for Bryce a little bit. He's not the main culprit behind the team's problems. I've watched him Sunday. The interception that Aiden Hutchinson took away, that wasn't good. But, I mean, by and large, guys aren't getting open. His offensive linemen, they're struggling to block for him. He's the one taking the blame, and I feel bad for him.
Yeah, it's very interesting to me because they drafted him, right, to be this leader, to be ready, and yet, you know, there are some growing pains, which we knew that he was going to have those growing pains as a rookie quarterback. But, yeah, you just wonder when he's going to settle in. And you heard him say there that, you know, he's following the coach's lead. Certainly that's what you want your rookie quarterback to do. But he is a leader, and he does maybe operate a little bit better when he's given the freedom on the offense. And so, I don't know. It's just these two things are not being married very well together right now.
No, absolutely. Well, more from Carolina now. If Panthers fans want signs of hope for Young, look no further than the quarterback lining up on the other sidelines on Sunday. Tua Tagovailoa has blossomed into the star the Dolphins envisioned when they took him with the 5th pick in 2020. But like Young, Tua's rookie year wasn't all that easy. And you can say the same for Patriots quarterback Mac Jones and Eagles quarterback Jalen Hurts. So what do all these guys have in common? They all played in the same offense under Nick Saban at Alabama. However, their adjustments to the pros have looked different. In 10 games his rookie year, Tua had 11 touchdowns and 5 picks. He was sacked 20 times. His QBR of 44.8 was below the league average. Hurst played in 15 games his rookie year, and he had an even worse QBR, 33.8. He also completed 52% of his passes. And then there's the curious case of Mac Jones. He had a great rookie season, but he has regressed each season since. Back to Bryce Young now. Despite his struggles, his opponent is not taking him lightly.
He's one of the few young quarterbacks that you see coming out that see defenders when operating as a quarterback. His vision is uncanny, and his timing and rhythm to the game. You can see that he's going to be a very good player in this league, in my opinion. There's nothing more difficult than being a rookie starting quarterback.
Of course, the MLB is in the postseason, but the NHL is just getting started. The Carolina Hurricanes in action up in Raleigh, Mike.
Yeah, and you know what? After coming up short of the Eastern Conference Finals last spring, they feel like they got some unfinished business to take care of this season. It appears they are on their way. Rod Brindamore and company opening things up tonight against the Senators. Ottawa scored first, then Carolina got going. Fresh from the Maple Leafs, it's Michael Bunting. This will be his first goal of the season, and it's also Carolina's first goal of the season. We're all even at 1 in the second. Canes, though, they're just getting started. End of the period now. They kept attacking, and it paid off. Teuvo Teravainen able to sneak one in. Carolina up 2-1. It actually go up 3-1 at one point. They blow that lead, but in the end, they would be just fine. Third period, Brady Shea making it 4-3. Carolina would add one more, then would go on to win this one by the count of 5-3.
Love that win. Carson.
Hi, Miles Bridges isn't the only basketball player with ties to the area in the midst of legal troubles. Earlier this week, a Superior Court judge in California ordered former Lake Norman Christian star Mikey Williams to stand trial. The current Memphis freshman faces 6 felony gun charges from an incident this summer in which he's accused of firing a gun at a vehicle carrying 5 people. Prior to committing to the Tigers, Williams finished out his high school career in California. At one point, he was the #2 player from last year's class.